What's good, everybody? It's your boy Salty. We're gonna get down with some entitled parents. Here we go. Give my child an A? No. I'm gonna staple your head. Just discovered the sub, and it reminded me of an incident that happened a couple years ago when I used to work for a high school. Kinda long, sorry. I wasn't a teacher, but I was support staff that had an office in the senior school reception building, and so I was around at the end of the day when this entitled mother and her asshole kid showed up. It was well after school had finished for the day, but still within office hours, so there was plenty of staff in the office but no students around outside. I was in the reception area chatting with the receptionist when entitled mother comes in. The area the school is in isn't exactly known for its upper class population, and a lot of the students and their parents are what Australians affectionately refer to as bogans. Generally harmless but not exactly sophisticated, and oftentimes slightly more dependent on alcohol and cigarettes than one would consider healthy. Entitled mom comes in and it's immediately clear that she's not quite in her right mind. "Is Mr. English teacher here?" she asks abruptly. He was, so the receptionist fetches him from his office and he comes out to talk to the entitled mother. "I want to talk about the mark you gave my son for his last essay." "Sure, what's the problem?" "You gave him a C." Well, yes, he showed a clear improvement on his previous work, but he's still having issues with the grammar and spelling and his understanding of the text he was analyzing. I was pleased with the work, but I feel he can do better. "Okay, but he's got ADD and finds it hard to focus on schoolwork." I'm aware, and he's been doing much better, but I still feel like there's room for improvement, so the marks reflect that. "Well, he worked really hard on this last essay, so I think you should give him an A." "I'm sorry, I can't do that. Like I said, he's improved, but he's not up to the A level just yet." "He worked really hard, just give him an A." "I'd be happy to consider it for his future work if he can show improvement on a few markers that I've mentioned in his latest report card." "No, give him a A for this essay or I'm gonna move him to another school." Now, the school was kinda out in the sticks. Not exactly rural, but not quite near the metropolitan area. Most of the students of this school live within 3 or 4 kilometers, and the next closest high school was probably like 15 kilometers away. So it'd be super inconvenient to move him to a different school and make him travel all that way. "Teacher, if that's what you feel you have to do, I'm sure we can discuss it with the associate principal when she returns next week." "Nah, you don't know Please don't talk to me like that. I'm happy to have a discussion with the associate principal to discuss this further, but if you're going to be hostile, we're going to have to ask you to leave for now." Entitled mother pauses for a second and then goes hog wild. She starts smacking the teacher on the arms, chest, wherever she can reach. Asshole kid is sort of hovering, not quite sure what to do, but I'm pretty sure he's been in fights before, so he probably has no qualms about getting involved. The teacher is defending himself by holding his arms out and batting away her attempts to hit him. All in all, she's not being very effective. And that's when entitled mom sees the stapler sitting on the desk. It's a big metal stapler. One of those ones where you can open the mouth way up, like 180 degrees in case you need to staple something without using the base? I don't know when that would ever be useful, but anyway. It's currently sitting open on the desk. Entitled mother grabs the stapler and starts smashing it into the teacher's arms and head. She's not exactly using it properly, but she still gets off 1 or 2 good rounds and actually gets the staple jammed into his head. So now the teacher is bleeding and she's whacking him with the stapler and screeching that her child needs an A. It's about this point that I step in. Keep in mind the time from entitled mom starting to hit the teacher to her stapling him is about 10 seconds. And I'd kinda been frozen in what the fuck do I do shock for those 10 seconds. Anyway, I snap out of it and come up behind entitled mother, grabbing her arms and sort of holding her back. She spits at the teacher and starts trying to get out of his grip, but I'm 6'3" and she's about 5'1", 45 kilograms soaking wet, so she's no trouble to hold. However, I forgot about the kid. As I am grabbing entitled mother, my stance is kinda wide so I can reach her level and have a good center of gravity so my legs are spread. And that's when this little asshole kicks me directly in the testicles from behind like he's trying to kick the winning goal at the grand final from 60 meters out. Direct hit right on the baby makers. I go down like a sack of bricks that also just got kicked in the balls. I don't really know exactly what happened in the next few seconds because my nutsack had just been launched into the stratosphere. But when I regained a sense of awareness of my surroundings, a bunch of other staff had come out of their offices. Entitled mother and asshole kid had bolted to the door and legged it to their car, tearing out of the car park and down the street significantly faster than the legal limit in a school zone. We all just sort of sit in shock for a minute. One of the other teachers is on the phone to the police, and they say they'll have a couple of officers there in a few minutes. This is not the first time the police have been called to the school, so they're pretty quick to get here. The cops take down our details of the incident. There's no security footage because there's no cameras inside the office buildings. But there were about 6 witnesses who saw the whole thing. We know exactly where to find them because their address is in the school system. Cops pop off down to their house and promptly arrest entitled mother and asshole kid. Charges are filed. Asshole kid is expelled. This isn't the first time he's engaged in violence, though never against a member of staff. Prosecutions are made, statements are given. Asshole kid avoids any real punishment because he was 16 and it was decided that he was just defending his mother. Entitled mom gets 6 months, which is well below the maximum penalty, but whatever. We talked about it at school for a good long while, and the entire body of staff was way more weary of parents after that, which is a shame because most of them are lovely. Eventually it was forgotten and we all moved on. And from time to time, I still get phantom pain in my balls whenever I remember that incident. Fun time. Any other dudes out there get that phantom ball pain a couple weeks after getting kicked in the nuts? It's not the best feeling. Can you believe that lady? She spits at the teacher, smacks him in the head with the stapler. The story's just batshit insane. I hope y'all enjoyed this one. Unresponsible entitled mother almost killed her son in a brutal way. Last year, I volunteered in an animal park. Many different animals walk around there freely, and they're well trained not to hurt anyone. It never happened. However, there are some animals that are not human friendly. These animals are usually enclosed, not for humans to enter, but they can still watch them through windows. It's forbidden to enter, and it's also not easy to, since the doors are locked most of the time except if they get food. One day I had to lead a tour. I did that 3 times before, so I wasn't too experienced, but people usually gave me a very positive feedback. It was a group with 6 kids, 4 to 7 years old, and 5 adults. The tour went really well, and the kids had a lot of fun and actually listened to me when I explained them how the animals behave. Most adults were really friendly too, except one mother. She often interrupted the tour, made nasty comments, and sometimes tried to keep her son from animals because they were too dangerous, even from little guinea pigs. Her son was always kept from playing by her. When the other kids played, he had to sit next to his mother. It made me quite sad, so I asked her about it. "May I ask why your son isn't playing with the other kids? Is something wrong and can I help you?" "He doesn't want to, he told me." "That's strange, he actually had a lot of fun with them before." "I guess he changed his opinion, that's normal, and he can do it as he wishes." "Mom, can I play with the other kids now?" "No, I told you what they said about you and they don't really like you." "You just told me he doesn't want to play, but he just said he wants." "You know how kids are, they say things sometimes they don't mean." I didn't want to argue, so I decided to let him play with the other kids next time we have the chance to. The tour went on, and during the tour, she interrupted me really often, and while the other kids had a closer look, she kept her son by the hand, always in distance. Until we went to an enclosed area where you could see through the windows. It were monkeys, those who were saved from a zoo that didn't treat them very well. The entitled mother finally shut up and she seemed to be really fascinated by them. Then she started talking. "Those are adorable. When will we go inside?" "I'm sorry, but these animals react extremely aggressively. If you come too close, they can really hurt you." "That's bullshit. You don't want to tell me why we could touch bunnies, turtles, even goats, but can't cuddle these adorable angels?" "I'm sorry to tell you, but they're not human friendly and probably won't ever be. We have some monkeys that can be pet and you will see them at the end of the tour." "I don't care about these. Look at those. I want them." The other adults tried to calm her down, and after that we went on. She actually seemed to understand and the tour went on. However, when we went to the swans, they are right next to it, I turned around and saw entitled mom and her son gone missing. I had bad thoughts. I asked the adults where they are and they told me they just stood next to the others a minute ago, and I was like, oh no. I just didn't know something terrible was about to happen, but I had a bad feeling. It was feeding time and the worker brought food to the monkeys, going inside the cage with them. Since the cage was big and they were familiar with that worker, she had no trouble bringing it inside, clean a little bit, and then go after 10 minutes. As I came, I saw she was almost done from the outside. W equals worker. "Hey W, have you seen a woman and a child around here?" "Not that I know of. Why? What's wrong?" "She disappeared and acted really crazy before. She wanted to see the monkeys so badly." W came out of the cage and tried to look for them too. She closed the door but forgot something really important, to lock it. We went to the other side, outside of the cage, and looked everywhere nearby but found nothing and went back. My tour group started to become worried and they sent the entitled mother messages but nothing came. The worker called some other workers to help me look for her and they should arrive within 3 minutes. Then she wanted to get back in but she couldn't. Somehow the door was locked. As I heard that, I panicked inside. W called another worker to bring her another key. The kids of my tour group came and wanted to see the monkeys. One of them called me saying, "Look, I found them," with a smile on their face. I climbed up to see if the kid isn't making fun and I couldn't believe my eyes. The entitled mother sat on her knees on the floor and the son behind her, away from the monkeys. I was shocked and yelled, "Get out of there immediately, are you crazy?" No reaction. Meanwhile, everyone gave their attention to me, visitors, workers, but not the entitled mother. Workers tried to break open the door but failed. It was a really heavy and stable door. Then the mom took her son and pushed him towards the eating monkeys and he tripped and fell. Immediately they started to attack him, and don't underestimate these creatures. He screamed and the mom suddenly ran and unlocked the door. I never heard a child scream this way. Meanwhile, I, in shock, tried to bring the children away. They all had a shocked and very serious face. While I tried to distract them, others saved the boy. They had trouble doing so. The ambulance and police just came in time. I saw the boy. He was bleeding and he looked terribly hurt. It's a picture I'll never forget. When the emergency doctors took care of him, I saw a lot. He cried, still screamed like hell, and screamed for his dad. His mom got really angry, yelled, and cried something like this. "What have you done to my baby? How dare you let these beasts hurt him like that? Don't you know how to discipline an animal? It can't be that hard. I will sue these monkeys. I will sue the hell out of this place, and I will sue every single worker, especially this blonde whore." She meant me. While the police tried to keep her under control, they asked me about everything I saw. I told them everything. They asked everyone else too. I have a blurry memory of the things that happened afterwards. The park closed for 4 days, so I didn't have work. I stayed in contact with the adults in the tour, and they decided to visit the boy in the hospital, and so I joined them. I also bought this boy quite a realistic looking bunny plushie, since I was really sure he liked the bunnies the most. As I entered his room, I got a bit shocked. He had a lot of bandages and looked really hurt. He smiled when I came, and smiled even more when I gave him the plushie. I tried so hard not to cry. I was so sorry for him and felt so guilty I couldn't stop his mom and wasn't careful enough to see her leaving to do something idiotic. The other adults told me the doctors told them he was not too far away from death. He lost a lot of blood. I found out after a few weeks the mom lost custody and the boy would live with his dad. Not just because of the situation, a lot of other things happened too. Also, the mom denied everything. She told the police her son wanted to go inside so bad, and I told them they are allowed to. And the other worker opened the door for them, and she got scared and wanted to go outside, but as they did so, the other monkeys already attacked the boy. Luckily, I had enough people who saw what really happened, and nobody believed her bullshit. May she go to hell for being so selfish and entitled. That story's just insane, but I can so see it happening. With all these crazy stories of all these kids falling into the monkey enclosures and stuff like that. Lady definitely sounds like a psychopath that needs to be locked in her own enclosure. I'm gonna sue these monkeys, and I'm gonna sue this whole establishment, especially this whore who told me not to go in the cage. But I did anyways. Right. That's some sound logic right there. Discord server is finally ready, everyone. Link in the description. Hope you all enjoyed this one. We'll see you all in the next one. Peace.